Coach, how has the offensive line, handled this scheme shift going from what they're running with Adam Gaze now to running a wide zone scheme?
I get the feeling anyway. You might have to ask them, but I get the feeling that everyone's pretty excited about it. I know it seems to be very good buy-in at this point, really across the board. A lot of guys fit the scheme real well, really everybody, and I think they're excited to see where it can go.
What have been some of your early thoughts with Elijah Vera Tucker?
Very positive, very positive. We don't have pads on yet, so there's still some boxes to check from an O line standpoint, but every box he's been able to check, he has so far. He is really committed himself to learning the scheme, and athletically, he's everything we thought he would be. He seems to fit right in with the guys who have played quite a bit, and they'll definitely be in the be in the running, provided he passes the physical test once we are able to put pads on and whatnot. But all indications are very good.
We hear a lot about how this scheme is offensive line friendly and it does a lot of good things for the offensive linemen. What makes it so friendly to that group up front, and why is it so effective for so many different types of players?
Sure. Well, the friendly part in my mind comes from that really on mixed downs, first and second down, we're not in drop back mode near as much as maybe some other offenses and whatnot. We're going to run the ball and play action, which is much more lineman friendly from that standpoint. From the run game standpoint, I'm not sure that's completely true. I think we force the offensive linemen to put themselves on the edge and really attack the defense, and so I think that's where that comes from, is really the play selection standpoint on mixed downs.
I know Makai hasn't been out in the field a lot with you, but through the classroom work and just being around him, and studying what he did last year, what have your impressions been of Makai?
Yeah, very high on Makai. He had this foot injury he got the first day. He tried to go through it and it wasn't working, and it's become to a point where it's not worth it the last couple of days type thing. But very, very, very pleased with Makai. He's doing everything he can do. I know he's working his tail off every day. He's in every meeting. He's studying film. He's doing everything he can do at this point. As far as last year, obviously he's a tremendous talent, and surely will be able to help us. And that'll be the thing coming back. You can come back in the fall, ready to go, put together a good training camp, and be ready for good consistent play and take it from there. I think the sky's the limit for Makai, as I think everyone thinks. Just matter of putting it all together. But very pleased with him this training camp, even though he hasn't been able to be out in the field.
A lot's been made, John, of his weight, and obviously it's one of the things that makes him kind of a unique player, that he moves that size. But it also could be a hindrance if the weight gets too high and could contribute to injuries and things. What's your feeling on Makai's playing weight, and is there a weight that you'd like to see him at?
Yeah, I can't. I'm terrible at the specific weights. I'll leave that to our performance people. I know the surprising thing to me about Makai is, even meeting him back at the combine a couple of years ago, is he's a big, heavy man, and not disproportional. So, whatever that weight is, he plays it the best. I'm fine with, both from a performance standpoint and an injury prevention standpoint. So I think it does take when you're around Makai or standing right next to him, it does re-gauge your system for what big and heavy, big and heavy isn't necessarily mutually exclusive from each other, So I hope I said that right.
Hey, John, what led you to take this job? You were with the 49ers for 4 years, and they still have the same head coach and play caller in Shanahan. So what led to you coming here?
I'm really just excited for the opportunity and working with Robert and Mike and that type of thing, and seeing the situation the Jets had as well. It just seemed like the right decision. I certainly have good friends and good relationship back in San Francisco, but just looked like a great opportunity for me and get a chance to in the role I have, as a run game coordinator was important to me as well. So it just adding all the things together, it just seemed like the right move.
And what's it like for you getting used to an assistant coach? I'm not sure if you ever worked with Jake Moreland before, but what's that process like where two guys are put together at the same position?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I've worked with several as an assistant when I got in the league, and with several assistants through my time, and there's always a figure each other out situation, and fortunately, I can't think of a bad one I've had. I've been nervous about them at different times, and particularly when you don't know somebody very well. But at the same time, Jake and I have worked very well together. I've been very impressed with Jake as a coach. And the big thing is we'll have our battles, but not with the players, and that's healthy. We'll get in there, and I believe you do it this way. I believe you do it this way, and we'll hash it out and go from there. And maybe that's a little more of the answer to the question you were asking, but it's gone very well so far with Jake, and very, very short feel each other out time period. It's been very positive.
I'm not asking you to comment on the previous 2 years here, but just from someone who's watched the last few years, it stood out how this line kind of had a lot of trouble with twists and stunts, and that seemed to really give this line problems. From a teaching perspective, what are the keys for you? When you're teaching guys how to deal with that, what is sort of the main teaching points for guys who've never played offensive line in the NFL and haven't had to face that challenge? What is it that you kind of emphasize when it comes to dealing with the twists and stunts in games that defensive lines do?
There's a lot of particular techniques. It's gonna sound trite, but just time on task is probably as important as anything. And not the first time I've been involved in this issue, whether I was directly involved or coming into the situation, from that standpoint, and you address it and you go away. It is one of those things, blitzes and line stunts or twists tend to be a thing. If you show a weakness for them, you're going to get a lot more of them. And if you show you handle them well, you don't see hardly any of them. And so there's a vicious cycle that goes on there. So it's really just, working those situations, making it a high priority. We've tried to do that this spring with as much as we could do, and we'll continue to do it. They're, very technically sound group. So I know they were coached well, that type of thing. And, we're just making a point of emphasis, and hopefully we'll show improvement. And if we do show improvement, it will, like I said, it works. It can spiral the other way too. And that's been my selling point to the O line. Let's spiral it that way, because certainly alleviates a lot of headaches.